All right, let's get into these brackets. We are going to start in the East region because that is where UConn is, the number 1 overall seed. We're just going to go game by game. We're going to go through, do the whole first round, the whole second round, do the whole Sweet 16, do the whole Elite 8, and give ourselves a Final Four. UConn, Stetson. Who we got, guys?
Go ahead.
UConn's going to win this game. I think that's that's the easiest pick in the entire thing. And look, I love Donnie Jones, one of the all-time good guys in college basketball. He was at Florida when I was coming up, worked with Billy Donovan, had some different jobs. All-time great guy, good story. Stetson's first ever dance, but it ends prematurely. They don't even get to the second one. So UConn wins easily.
I want to shout out the Jalen Blackman and Steven Swenson. And I'm not even going to try to say their center's name, Auburn Gatorezzi, and Alec Oglesby, because for the Hatters to get here, I know, no relation, close. He's got the same last name. There is an Oglesby on the Hatters.
It's a fact.
Yes. You know what? For Stetson, great season, hell of a year. They beat Austin Peay in what was a great final. I mean, in that championship game, that was Jalen Blackman was absolutely ridiculous. He went
at 42.
He went for 43 points. So yeah. Jalen Blackman, we love you, but Connecticut wins. UConn dominates. UConn covers. All UConn.
I'm just
younger brother of James Blackman that played at IU, by the way.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Wow.
Yes,
I didn't put that one together.
I did a Stetson game to open up last year.
Oh, there you go. FAU Northwestern, the 8-9 game in Brooklyn. Fana, we'll go to you first on this one. Is it the Owls? Is it the Wildcats? Boo Booey, Nellie Davis? What do you got?
Man, I love this game. I think this is going to go right down to the wire. And honestly, when I saw FAU was an 8, I thought to myself, how? Because of
they didn't deserve an 8.
No, they did not deserve an 8, but good for them that they are. My initial pick was FAU. I'm going to stay with them but Northwestern has experience too. Like, you can't use that argument; it's invalid. Boo Booey and Brooks Barnheiser and the Wildcats, they can stick Florida Atlantic in the defensive grinder and make it really hard. But I just think that FAU's guards between Davis and Elijah Martin, I really think Vlad Golden needs to have a nice performance here. I'm going to give a slight lean to the Owls, and we get 2 of the Final 4 from last year meeting up in the second round. FAU.
T.O.?
I think FAU has been overvalued because of last year's run.
I agree.
I think they have, and I agree with Fanta. I think they should have been a lower seed. That all being said, this is probably one of the harder picks in the entire thing because I love Boo Booey too, and he just kind of wins stuff, and he just kind of wins and wins and wins. I'm going to let Rob be the swing guy here because I think I like Northwestern in this game.
I'm gonna go with FAU mostly because I think one of the issues with them all season long has been they've been kind of waiting to get back to this point, right? Like, you make it to a Final Four, you have all that success, and you come back, and then it's just kind of, okay, you got to go on the road against Florida Gulf Coast. Like, It's their Super Bowl, and you're just kind of waiting for your chance in March. So I'm going to go with FAU here just for that simple reason, and it's a shame. I wanted to see Boo Booey be able to make a run. San Diego State, last year's national title runner-up, and UAB, the Fighting Andy Kennedys. I'm going to go first on this one, guys, and I just think I'm going to go with San Diego State. I think this is the 1-5-12 matchup where I think it's going to be very difficult for UAB to win. You have experienced guards. You have a first-team All-American or second-team All-American in Jaden Ledee. You have a team that understands how to win in March, and you have a tough physical team, which is kind of what UAB is, T.O., and I don't know if you can beat San Diego State at San Diego State's game.
No, you can't. I'm going to go with San Diego State here too. Jaden Ledee is a beast. They have nothing for him at Alabama Birmingham. They just don't. Other than that, the swing guy for San Diego State this postseason is going to be Micah Parrish. He's the guy that can kind of turn this game around and knock some shots down. The problem is with this UAB matchup is they have a couple of guys that can create on their own. That's what happened against New Mexico in the Mountain West championship game. They just simplified, went high screen and roll, and Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. killed them. That's what worries me about this matchup, but I think San Diego State grits and grinds their way through, and they get a win here.
All right, Fanta, you don't get a vote in this, but you can make the pick.
Right. I'll make the pick, and I will join you. UAB 202 in KenPom adjusted defensive efficiency, 202. That's got to be among the lowest efficiency ratings in this field. Congratulations to the Blazers for getting this far. They were a bid stealer. Their road ends here. It is, to me, it's a death note when you're a 11 or a 12 and you see San Diego State pop up in your region. That's really harsh. It's cold. San Diego State better offensively this year. Maybe not quite as good defensively. They win this game.
Yep. All right. Auburn, Yale. We've been getting crushed for this. Tio, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
You know what? Here's the deal with this whole Auburn thing, and I understand, like, they're very good. We're not taking away from the fact that they've been very good all year. They've had a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. They've been that good. Here's the problem: is they're 51st in creating turnovers, and those are live ball turnovers in large part because Auburn's really good at pressuring the ball and getting out and creating some offense that way. Yale's not going to turn it over. Yale, I want to say, is 14th or 15th in the country at taking care of the basketball. That's where my apprehension is a little bit. Auburn's really good, but I'm going to say that it's a close one. This upset, to be honest with you, I'm going to go with Yale because they take care of the defensive glass and they don't turn it over.
Auburn got royally screwed. They're top 5 in KenPom, top 5 in Torvik. They win the SEC tournament, and they're on the 4 line. I thought they should have been on the 3 line. Okay, and I would have put Kentucky on the 4 line, to be candidly honest.
I agree with that.
So Auburn got screwed. Matt, who's saying Yale needs to do UConn a favor and take out Auburn, the Connecticut teams. No, they don't. 20-second rant. This whole idea that I know that these are conference tournament champions. For the 20,000th time, you can't equate whether a team won a conference tournament or not to what they will do in the NCAA tournament. I know that Auburn, Iowa State, and who's the other? Oh, and Illinois have all had a successful season. All 3 teams I have slight concerns about compared to some others on their same seed line, even though they won their league. I don't think Connecticut got stuck with hell like everybody else. I know that's a general take that this was an unbelievably impossible road and, wow, they really got screwed. They didn't get screwed. It's the NCAA tournament. I think this is fine for UConn. Who wins this game? Yale! Upset.
Yes.
They also are among the most, you're exactly right, 11th in the country with just 9.5 turnovers per game. John Mark Price, I may be a clown, but I'm smart enough to pick Yale over Auburn.
All right, guys. Look,
go dig a hole.
We have 67 games to get through. We've gotten through 4 games.
Go dig a hole?
It's been 9 minutes. We've gotten through 4 games.
Are you telling our listeners to go dig a hole?
We might be.
John Mark Price can go dig a hole.
We might be here for 3 years. All right, BYU, Duquesne. I'm gonna take this one first. We just saw Keith Dambra announced that he is going to be retiring after this NCAA tournament run. I don't understand how Duquesne ended up as an 11 seed. Their metrics are worse than what a lot of these 12 and 13 seeds were. I wonder if the committee is doing BYU a favor because BYU had to get bumped from the top number 5 seed to a 6 seed line so they didn't have to play on Sundays because BYU is a school that can't play on Sundays. But I'm going to take BYU in this spot. I just think that they are a very, very good team that can shoot the ball really, really well. And Duquesne had their miracle run and sent Keith Dambra out on a high note. And he will be out after the first game of the tournament. T.O., what do you got?
Agreed. BYU will win this game.
BYU wins, and they're not done yet.
Oh, I'm with you there, too. All right. Illinois Morehead State in the 3-14 Fanta. Any chance that Preston Spradlin can pull off a miracle?
Yeah. Yeah, there is a chance. Like there's no such thing as a no chance. And the OVC brings its test. I just think in this one, I think Illinois is just too much right now. Now, Riley Minix averaging 21 points per game, and Jordan Latham with over 15 points per game, and Khalil Thomas. Like you go down the Eagles lineup, you look at what the Eagles have done. They could score. Morehead State can score. They average 76 points per game. I like this Morehead State team. I do. But man, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine that Terrence Shannon and Marcus Domask would be a first-round exit, although Big Ten tournament champions have notoriously struggled in the first round. A couple years ago, Iowa to Richmond in Buffalo. I'm gonna go with Illinois. I just think that they're too good. I've got Illinois winning this basketball game.
Yep, I think Illinois is going to win this too. There's too much firepower on offense with Terrence Shannon back, but give Preston Spradlin credit. They could upset people. He does a terrific job there, and he's one of the better coaches in college basketball at recognizing talent that would fit his level and his style of play at Morehead State. That all being said, Illinois moves through. Yeah, it'll be closer than people think.
Illinois wins. Morehead State covers. Bet the over. Washington State, Drake. Guys, this is one of the more intriguing matchups in the first round. T.O., we'll go to you first on this one.
Two superbly coached teams. I think that's to be said. Washington State had a terrific season. Kyle Smith and what he's done there has been awesome. The story of Miles Rice, the whole thing. They've been really good. Plus, they have a guy named Andre Jakimovsky, which is an all-name team first teamer. So I'm going to throw that in there. Secondly, Tucker DeVries is very good. I think he's going to be the best player on the floor, which throws some things in there. But Tucker DeVries is the best player on the floor. Both teams are really well coached, and I actually think Drake gets this one through.
Mm-hmm. Fana?
Yeah, it feels weird, that I think we're all going to be on this one. I'm interested to see Washington State defensively because if they can guard Drake. Washington State can guard Drake. They can. But I think Washington State got screwed with the draw here. I mean, this is a game in Omaha.
Let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, Splash Sports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all. Join Splash and come prove that you're smarter than us. Mama
Mama she was crawling.
that was Mama. That was Mama. Oh shit! I'm on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
What did I just watch? By the way,
my wife crawling through the living room.
That was your wife?
That was my wife. Of course, that was my wife. Nobody else that size was in this room. I can promise you. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure, Tiger.
No, none of that.
You didn't meet her at a Perkins or something. So the pick here is Drake. Drake, to me, a little bit better offensively in this one. Washington State, I worry a little bit about them on this stage in Omaha. For whatever reason, this is a road game for them, basically. I mean, Drake's campus, Drake has great fans, and they're located an hour and a half from Omaha. And I'm a little bit worried about that. Washington State's had a remarkable year. It would not surprise me at all if Isaac Jones and Miles Rice, the thing about Washington State is they create matchup issues with Jalen Wells and his length and his ability to shot make. But I like Drake. I think Drake has the best player on the floor in this game, Rob.
Tucker DeVries. I don't even get to vote in this one, but I would have said Drake as well, mostly because it'll be a de facto home game for them. Any chance that the Fighting Jackrabbits, that Hendo, Eric Henderson, can go and get revenge on former South Dakota State head coach TJ Otzelberger? T.O., Iowa State gets this one done?
Iowa State gets this one done.
Fana?
Cyclones.
Yep. All right. UConn FAU. Can Janelle Davis be the guy that works his magic to knock off the Huskies? No. T.O. says no. Fanta, do you say no?
FAU is not nearly as good of a defensive team as they were last year. Now, whether that's desire or whether that's, gets the tournament, but this is why you can't slack during the regular season. You got to play UConn in the second round, Connecticut.
I agree. San Diego State, Yale. I'll go first on this one. I just think that SDSU is going to be too physical for Yale. They kind of play. Yale is kind of the Ivy League version of what San Diego State is, and again, I don't see them being able to handle the size and the physicality, and specifically the presence of Jaden Ledee inside. I think Yale can get one this weekend. I don't think that they get two. I have San Diego State in the Sweet 16 for a rematch of the national title game with UConn. Fanta, is it going to happen?
It will happen. Aztecs make it right back to the second weekend, and can test UConn, by the way. We'll get to it. But San Diego State wins, moves on to the Sweet 16.
Go ahead, T.O.
Here's the thing with San Diego State that you need to be careful with. They can go on droughts of epic proportion because they cannot score at times. If you really load up on Jaden Ledee, they can have a really hard time. Lamont Butler's not a great shooter. In conference play, they shot 30% from three, 30. And they will go on to close out the Mountain West Championship game. They didn't score for the last 6 minutes. For the last 6 minutes. Just keep that in mind as people are picking San Diego State. That's tough.
So you would have picked Yale?
Yeah.
Ooh, we would have.
I'm just worried. Scoring is at such a premium.
Hold on, Fanta. I'm now reconsidering because I want to put Yale in the Sweet 16. Am I allowed to reconsider?
Go San Diego State. I'm just saying, I think.
No. You can.
No. Pick San Diego State. I think that's the right play.
You were just going with Yale because you knew you were going to be on an island with Yale, just like you're on an island in the Bahamas, right?
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly where I'm at. No, I really do think San Diego State wins. They leave a lot of doubt in my mind just because to be able to score. And I've seen them, I've seen every game of the tournament, their last regular season game, and every single game they have gone on drought of 5 minutes or more.
Yep. All right.
It's alarming and amazing.
BYU, Illinois. I like BYU in this game. The reason I like BYU in this game is because you have to be incredibly disciplined to be able to run them off the three-point line and deal with all the sets they run, all the zoom action and all that. I don't think Illinois is that defensively. Illinois will have the two best players on the floor for my money when it comes to Terrence Shannon and Marcus Domask, but I think that BYU is able to get it done because I don't see Illinois getting enough stops. T.O., I'll go to you first on this one.
I think BYU can really shoot it. That's the thing. That's the thing there, and they do it by moving the basketball. And Illinois has been very sporadic in defending this year. I'm going BYU there too.
Ooh, Fanta, is it a clean sweep?
It's a clean sweep by my bracket, so it's a clean sweep here, which makes me really not feel good about this. I guess briefly, did you learn anything new from Illinois in the Big Ten tournament? Do you take any stock from that?
No, they won. I mean, but they did it exactly how we thought they could. Terrence Shannon being great or Marcus Domask being great. The rest of it's they needed 42 to get into the championship game.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're not getting that every night. I know he's been absurd lately, but you're not getting it every night.
All right. ISU, Iowa State, Drake in the other second round game for the last spot in the Sweet 16 of the East.
If that happens, Omaha's going to be on fire.
Yes.
On fire. This is like an old school
battle for Iowa.
Yeah, battle for Iowa, Big 12 versus.
And for people that don't know, Omaha is literally on the other side of the river from Iowa. It basically Omaha is the border for Iowa and Nebraska.
It is, and if you've never been to Omaha, you need to get there, folks. There are 4 casinos. There's 1 million steakhouses.
They got steakhouses in Omaha. Never would have known.
Right, 1 million steakhouses. You know, you got the element of the DeVries element. In Omaha, Greg McDermott left Iowa State to go to take the Creighton job once upon a time. There's still like weird blood there. Like the whole setup is fun. It's gonna be wild there if this happens.
Give me a pick.
I am. Who did I have on my bracket here? I want to make sure I have Iowa State. Iowa State advances on to the second weekend. I do love this team. I really do. They're tough as nails.
Mm-hmm.
Milan
Momcilovic.
Milan Momcilovic is going to be the dad in this game. It's going to be fantastic. He's owning the floor in this game. I like Iowa State to go to the Sweet 16, and they're not going to be done yet.
I got Drake just because I want to hate Iowa State. The series. And Tucker DeVries is the best player on the floor.
Yeah, as much as I want to go with Drake, I think that in a rivalry game, in a situation where you know that Iowa State, look, as much as Drake fans are going to travel, Iowa State fans will travel even more than that. Give me the Cyclones in this spot. We got a Sweet 16, Big 12 matchup. Iowa State, BYU. Fellas, what do you got there? T.O., we'll go first. Iowa State and BYU for the right to get to the Elite Eight.
BYU because they can shoot it and they're going to spread out that defense.
Interesting. Vanna?
Wow. Well, if memory serves me correctly, and it does, they just met on March the 6th, and BYU was in position to win the game. Unraveled, and Iowa State found a way.
And BYU won in Ames by 15. No, I'm sorry. Won in
Provo.
In Provo by 15.
So the message here is not a good matchup for Iowa State. But give me the Wizard of Oz. You're right, says Iowa State has been upset almost every time they have been seated high. Upset special once again. I'm worried about it. I'm going to go with Iowa State.
I'm worried about it too, and I'm going with BYU. I'm riding with Terrence Oglesby. We got the Cougars
my goodness.
We got the Cougars in the Elite Eight. Mark Pope is sending up
Big fan of Cougars. Big fan of Cougars.
Mark Pope.
All right, wait a minute.
We
have a chat. Harrison on the chat says, I just bet my whole kid's college fund on Yale. Please do not do that. No, we're not.
only if it's on BetMGM. Only if it's on BetMGM. That's the only one.
I got an email from you challenging me this morning.
Yeah, you've been challenged. I'll explain that here in a little bit. UConn, San Diego State, a rematch of the national title game. I'm gonna shock you guys when I say I have UConn beating San Diego State and getting to the Elite Eight, and then UConn beating BYU and getting to the Final Four. I know that's just one of the most surprising things you've ever seen in your life. But Vanna, can either of these teams beat UConn?
Well, Trevor Valise, by the way, says that we're dead to him. Okay.
Not the first time.
Yeah, that's all right. No,
that seems to be a other daily occurrence, like every other day.
Right. I'm going to take Connecticut here. And again, I'm not subscribing to this whole idea. Like, I got UConn. But, T.O., I do want to ask you. Like, the region dropped, and everyone's like, oh, my God. The committee really screwed them here. They're in Boston. It's Iowa State, Illinois, and Auburn, who I mean, honestly, it was Auburn who I was like, they would have to deal with them potentially in Sweet 16. Like, T.O., do you subscribe to this being the region of death, or is it not? Or is it overrated, these takes, that they got to go through the gates of hell?
I think that's overrated. I really do. I think it's overrated. I think UConn actually has the easiest 1 seed all the way through.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. We'll talk. I don't know if I agree with that.
We'll talk about that. So we all got UConn in the Final Four. Is that final? We lock that in? All right. UConn in the Final Four. There you have it.